All right, so I get stressed. It happens. A lot of people get stressed. One gentleman was very stressed out about a lot of different situations, but the people that he was stressed out at weren't there to take it out on. And he isn't really the kind of person who wants to take it out on somebody. He'd like to be heard. Like come over to his house, and every time you come over there, you make a trash all over his living room floor, and then you leave, and you leave all of it there. Well, he's got a legitimate beef when he says, "Hey, you need to fucking pick your mess up, or not come over here and make any more messes." That's legit. I'm about to drink me a pumpkin spice eggnog. I have never liked pumpkin spice anything at all. So I guess I'm a terrible white person. Fuck it. I'm gonna try this pumpkin spice eggnog and see if it works. Sometimes when people are stressed or overly stressed, when they're about to pop, they don't take it out on the person they're stressed at. No, that person's smart enough to stay hiding. But you think since you're not the one that did it, that you might be safe. No, you're not. It's like eggnog and ketchup. It's just gross. Um, I'm gonna type my email address over here in the live chat. And also, people been trying to figure out how to send me money. I'm gonna put in my PayPal thing. At the very beginning, when it would have made a difference, that's when I needed money. That's when I needed help. That's when I needed a safe environment. Without those things, I knew that all of the things that have happened since then would happen. Well, I didn't know they would happen. I knew the risks. I know how Lana Engeline is. When I went up there for help right after Natalie's death, I knew what the risks were. I knew that there was a chance that Lana was gonna do a bunch of manipulating like she usually does. I knew that if I didn't do exactly what Lana wanted, whenever Lana wanted it, that her and her daughter and possibly Miss Jerry and her family were going to gang up on me and treat me like shit. Now, how would I know something like that? That comes from history, from a history of knowing these people. Miss Jerry doesn't have the balls to stand up to Lana. Oh, you guys don't like that I said that? Because I said balls instead of testicular fortitude? I think that's called equality. If you're going to say that stuff about men, yeah, I think it's fine for men to say it about women because you know what? It's a figurative speech, it's a figurative term. It's not a literally you don't have any testicles. It's that you don't have the testicular fortitude. Now, I understand that that's a man gender role thing. Well, that's also sexist. You know how many sexist gender role things men have to listen to every fucking day? Or gender role expectations. We got all these women out here telling us, hey, you men need to stop your gender role expectations. Well, hey, how about we try equality here and you drop yours too? So this guy was stressed out because he's dealing with a lot of people, a lot of crazy people. Sandy Fromm isn't fucking sane. He's dealing with a lot of drunk people, you know. And he doesn't drink either. So for him, there's basically all these people coming over to his house that are drunk are being a pain in the ass and fucking dropping a bunch of drama and bullshit on him that he don't want nothing to do with. He just wants to be left alone, you know. He wants to go out picking. He wants to watch his cowboy shows and he wants to relax. He's, not 20 years old. This is a guy who's put in his fucking 40 plus years of manual labor. This is a guy who, even after putting in his 40 years plus of manual labor, is still doing manual labor. And although his back isn't as screwed up as mine or anywhere near it, there's also the fact that, he does have health issues of his own, and I need to be mindful of that. I understand that when he snaps at me, it's not that he's snapping at me necessarily over anything I did. He's snapping at me because he's fucking stressed to the max. Like, here he is. He's a guy who likes to mind his own business and have his own life. And now he's got alcoholics in his life that are fucking causing all sorts of drama and mayhem and bullshit in his life. And one of those alcoholics that's coming over and creating that drama and mayhem and bullshit in his life, she's in his life because of me. She was trying to stalk Toby Smith by any means possible. She knew that this guy knows Toby Smith. So when I was saying I was going to go see my friend, she was like, oh, I know him. Let's go see him. Well, it turns out, yeah, he hadn't seen her in 7 or 8 years at that point. They never really hung out, She hung out with, well, a mutual friend, basically. I still consider Toby Smith a friend. I don't talk to him. I don't go over to his house. Something about people threatening to kill folks, even though your heart might be in the right place. You might have it in your head that, all child molesters should just have a bullet in the head. And that's what a lot of people that I know, that's their opinion. But at the same time, you got to look at the validity of the accusation. Not as in, is it a crazy person or a rich person who's saying it, but as in, actually look at evidence. Actually look into it. Do I know for a fact that Ted Bollinger raped Alicia Bollinger and Natalie Bollinger? No, I don't. I wasn't there to see it. But I sure as hell got to hear about it. A lot of people got to hear about it. How many of those people tried to do something about it other than me? How many? I mean, Bobby admitted that he knew about it years ago. What did he do about it? What did he try to do about it? And Samantha Danielle used to give them rides up there in fucking Rhode Island. And she knew about it. Why didn't she try to do something? But the other thing is, none of these people are able to necessarily make the connection of what I'm having to go through. This guy who snapped at me the other day, he's sober enough to understand it. He is sober enough to look at the situation for what it is. He's sober enough to do that. When he's stressed, he may not. He may have a moment or even a few days of temporary, and I can't call it insanity because it's not insanity. Being stressed out is not insanity. Being stressed out is a body's natural response. What's it a natural response to? Stressors. Duh. If you're being beaten by your husband and you're stressed out, you're not stressed out because you need drugs. You're stressed out because you're afraid of getting beaten again. Now, he's a diplomat like myself, but he also has played diplomat for long enough with these people, and he shouldn't have. I guess we're back. It was froze up for a minute. He didn't ask for the drama and bullshit, and neither did I. If it hadn't been for Sandy trying to stalk Toby Smith, and by the way, this is, like within the first week of meeting her, this is the second day that I knew her. She's wanting to go stalk Toby Smith. Like, holy fuck. And at that point in time, that's not what was registering in my head. I mean, I just met this lady. She's telling me she's friends with Toby, and she's friends with this other guy, and she's friends with other people that are, well, they're dead now. Everett's been dead a while. Bill Christie's been dead a while. But, I figured, yeah, she knows these people. It should be all right. And then when I realized what a friggin' stalker she was, like, she wouldn't stop talking about Toby Smith well, she still doesn't stop talking about him. So I can't say any length of time because it hasn't stopped. But I was told to ignore her, and I ignored her. And the guy who told me to ignore her, he allows her over to his house. And when she gets there, she starts shit with me. And because he's sober, he sees the situation for what it is. And he also allows me to take care of it as best I can. The last 3 times that she went over there starting trouble, I knew that he was about to do something. I mean, the last time, that she came in there starting crap with me, like, he knew exactly what was going on. She came into the room to fucking start shit, and I left the room. I walked out of the room and went into the kitchen. She turned around and followed me into the kitchen to fucking start bitching at me. She's the one who did fucked up shit to me, and she's gonna bitch at me. Now, this guy's telling me, ignore her. Well, if she's gonna follow me places, how can I ignore her? That's kind of like with Natalie, with her friends, these junkies who are assaulting me for wanting to go see my friends and family. Is that my choice for those people to do that? No, it's not. And you want to tell me to ignore it. If I ignore it, it'll go away. No, it didn't fucking go away. Ignoring abuse like that doesn't make it go away. And when slander like that happens, you have to cut it off immediately. You have to get that person in court. You have to get that information to the police. Hey, I am being abused over slander. But nobody wanted to listen to my side. Not as far as law enforcement goes. None of my friends did. They were all too busy getting fucked up on drugs or enjoying a spoiled life with somebody who has family. What do you and your family fucking argue about? Like Martindale's, for example. I have a major fucking issue. People are assaulting me, people are threatening me, and people are fucking dead. And the Martindales treated me like shit because I was having a fucking meltdown. Well, damn near. I didn't go over there having a meltdown. I went over there having a panic attack. I'd gone over there several times to get help before that and been blown off. Everybody blows you off. When you're a male, people assume that you should magically be able to do this stuff. That magically, because you have a penis, that the terrible things that people do to females can't happen to you because you have a penis. That's sexism. This guy don't want no problems. He snapped at me, and I understand that. It's just like going over to Jeff's. When I go over to Jeff's and Stretch won't shut the fuck up, and he's just looking for a fucking fight. And Jeff always says something to me, never says anything to Stretch. He always says it to me. And yes, that bugs me. Yes, that is something that annoys the living shit out of me. And I have asked Jeff why he does that. Jeff, why is it that when Stretch comes in here looking for somebody to treat like shit, he's not going to treat you like shit. It's your garage. He wants to hang out with somebody. He wants a place to hang out that's not his mom's house. Stretch is in his 60s now. I mean, shit, yeah, he still lives with his mom in his 60s. But that's not the problem that I have. The problem that I have isn't that Stretch lives with his mom. It's that Stretch is a judgmental fucking asshole. And that's not my fault. He also has his good days and his good moments. And there are things that, despite the fact there's a lot of stuff he does that I don't agree with or that I am completely against, I can be proud of the fact that the man got off of opiates, where so many of you are still getting fucking trashed, still injecting that shit into your veins, still going and getting prescriptions from them doctors. At least Stretch was able to get off of that shit. Yes, it was a prescription that he was on. No, he was not doing heroin. I'm not going to pretend for one moment that Stretch was doing heroin. He fell off of a 200-foot tower and fucked up his back, and fucked up his neck, and fucked up his head, and fucked up a lot of other things. He had every reason to be on those opiates. He still does. He still has to deal with the physical pain from that. But he refuses to take the opiates, same as me. Now, to get back to where this tangent started as far as Stretch goes, why is it that Jeff always tells me, hey, Sean, hey, Schwartzy, why is it that I'm always the one that needs to shut up and not say anything and be quiet? But when I asked Jeff, why is it that you always say something to me and you never say anything to Stretch? And Jeff said to me, because you're reasonable. You know Stretch isn't going to stop. You know that if he drops the N-bomb and you tell him you don't like the N-bomb, he's going to say it 30 more times. Sean, the reason I ask you to stop is because you are the adult in the situation. Yes, I understand he is older than you, but you are more mentally mature than Stretch is. If Stretch is here starting an argument, I expect you as the adult in the situation to knock it off or to ignore it. And that does make sense. It really does. When you're stressed and you snap at me, it hurts me a fucking ton. I can handle the physical pain, but the emotional shit, it's killing me. When you snap at me, I also know whether or not it is my fault. And this guy, who's had an issue the last few days, he's also sober. And he got back a hold of me. Why? Because sober people are very good at realizing that they screwed up. I mean, sure, it took him a couple of days to realize that he screwed up, but he probably knew he screwed up when he screwed up. He was just all tied up in his emotions. And with the stressors that he was dealing with, these are some of the same people that I'm complaining about, the same people that I have to deal with, the same people who stalk me. Obviously, if they're stressing me the fuck out, and they're in his environment, yeah, they're not going to be any less stressful to him. It's not that he doesn't care about these alcoholics. He does. He just doesn't want their bullshit. And he wants me to be the adult about the situation. And I asked him, I said, hey, if people are threatening to kill you, are you just going to let it go? Are you just going to ignore it? You know what his answer was? He takes death threats very seriously. I'm sure you can imagine what his response to that was. These aren't bad people. These are people who are stressed out. Ted Bollinger is a bad person. My mother is a bad person. But the rest of these people, they're not bad people. They're people who made mistakes. Making a mistake doesn't make you a bad person. Making a mistake doesn't even make the mistake itself a bad thing. I mean, yeah, you made a mistake. And maybe there were bad things that happened as a result of that mistake. But at the same time, bad things happening because you screwed up doesn't make you a bad person. Trying to cover it up, trying to hide the fact that you screwed up, trying to hide the fact that you made a mistake. That's where my problem is with all of these people. They didn't keep their words because of bad assumptions. Bad assumptions because they were busy talking instead of listening. They didn't know what the fuck the situation was because they weren't listening. There are things that I've recorded where I told people over a dozen times just in one recording. And then the next recording or the one after that, they're like, well, you never told me that. Holy shit, I got it fucking recorded. You can tell me that you never said that, but I recorded it. You can tell me you never typed that, but I recorded it. Maybe instead of saying that I never told you something, you should listen to begin with. When I'm talking, I'm not just talking to hear myself talk. And I just realized this is a pumpkin spice nastiness I picked up and was about to drink. Am I going to finish drinking it? Well, hell yes. I've eaten out of dumpster slime. I don't want to waste it. There are people in other countries that are happy to have a fucking grain of rice. You're damn right I'm going to finish that nastiness. I'm just not going to do it on video. I don't want to do any of this on Facebook. I don't want to do any of it on YouTube. I wanted to do it in court. But when you're called mentally ill, nobody cares. Nobody does their job when you're called mentally ill because they don't have to. There are no consequences for any of these people not investigating the crimes against me. There are no crimes for Scott DaCosta covering up the illegal actions of his deputies. There are no consequences for him. There are no consequences for any of the people in this town who threatened to kill me. When I went to police, they outright ignored me and fucking bullied me and harassed me. And I've had to speak out here because I can't get anyone in the fucking legal system to listen to a goddamn word I have to say. And all of you who claim to be my friends, who said, yes, Sean, I will show up. None of you actually did. None of you, not one of you, ever showed up with me to file a fucking police report. None. None of you who were involved in this situation wanted to come forward because you didn't want to have to deal with this. And then you want to pretend that I'm a bad person for being angry about me being treated like this. Meanwhile, I am being treated like this because you are a fucking coward. You are too much of a coward to come forward and tell the truth. Laura Nelson finally went in with me, and no, she's not my friend. By this point in time, she had already showed that she doesn't care what happens to me. As long as she doesn't have any consequences, it's fine. No, Laura Nelson, you're a shitty excuse for a human being. You should have told the truth from day one. You're a piece of shit, Laura. Lori Dale, you're a piece of shit too. Candace Bondurant, you're a piece of shit too. You're not bad people. You're fucking stupid. You're short-sighted. You're ignorant. But you're not bad people. Ted Bollinger is a bad person. What makes him a bad person? Well, first of all, raping his own fucking daughters. Second of all, getting them fucking hooked on drugs. Third of all, selling them to pay for his fucking drug debts. So two of the people who fucked me over because they were on fucking drugs. And I can prove that they're on drugs with their own words. My mom sold them the house. Are you not seeing a pattern here? My grandpa raped my mom. She extorted him for $200,000 in his lifetime. And now she's trying to fight with my grandpa's ex-wife, or not ex-wife. They were married when fucking my grandpa died, so that she can get stuff that's not even hers. It belongs to Twyla, my grandpa's wife. That's Twyla's. By law and by right, that is Twyla's. Mom, you have no business to that. You protected that child molester and allowed him to do those very same things he did to you to others. You knew what a sick fucking pervert your dad was. And rather than put that predator away, you extorted him for money because you're a fucking criminal. Then she helped protect my little brother, who is actually a child molester, who is actually a sexual predator. His name is Michael Allen Albert. His dad's name is Larry Albert. Larry's a piece of shit. They live in Iowa, I believe. They might still live around Beatrice, Nebraska. I don't know. I don't fucking care. What I do care about is that I was being abused for crimes that I didn't commit. And my mom didn't give a shit. But she protected my child molesting little brother. Now she is helping people who literally did everything they could to harm me after Natalie's death. People who pretended to help, who instead were busy getting fucked up on drugs and using and abusing me. Instead of helping me like they promised, they took advantage of me. That's Amy and Andrew Witcher. My mom helps out predators. She don't give a fuck about good people. How many sexual predators has my mom helped to get away with it in her lifetime? And you guys want me to shut up about it? Let me tell you something about getting heard. I didn't shut up about the mentally ill treatment in Colorado. But I also wasn't heard, so Elijah McClain ended up dead. I told you all about the cops in Boulder and how they abused me, but nobody wanted to listen. Nobody wanted to actually help. Nobody wanted to understand that the term mentally ill means that no matter what, without someone there with me who gives a shit, none of these government agencies are going to do anything. They're going to blow me off and tell me it's someone else's fucking job. And when I call the place that they tell me it's their job, that place tells me it's not their job, it's somebody else's. And then I end up right back where I fucking started. Yeah, I get that you're fucking stressed out, but you're allowed to be stressed out. You normal people who have all of the benefits that we are denied get frustrated over stupid shit. We're not allowed to get frustrated over real shit. I'm not allowed to be frustrated about my loved ones being fucking murdered, but you're allowed to be pissed off at me and fucking slander my name and destroy any opportunities that I have over something fucking trivial that didn't have nothing to do with me. The Martindales, they have worse days than me over one Martindale girl borrowing another Martindale girl's fucking shirt. They will fight like cats and dogs for weeks for a fucking shirt and then treat me like I am a bad person because I am going to them for help during a fucking panic attack. Because nobody else will help me. I get empty words and empty promises, and people are telling me things that I am not allowed to do. You tell me, Sean, you need to do this, you need to do that. Look at the fucking laws, dumbass. When you are called mentally ill, you're not fucking allowed. Anyway, when you get government help, they got 10,000 stipulations they put on you that prevent you from being able to spend your money to defend yourself. I had to spend my money to defend myself. I had to spend my money going to places where I was unsafe, where I was repeatedly assaulted, where police would do nothing about the assaults, and then the police assaulted me for trying to tell them about the fucking assaults. And then they say, oh, well, if you have more than this amount of money because you're disabled, if you have more than this amount of money, then you're not disabled and we're going to take all your money away. They took all of my money and forced me to jump through hoops for crimes that I didn't even fucking commit, costing me thousands of dollars and resulting in me being assaulted hundreds of times. You guys think it's wrong if I do it? People do it to me for years, and I have to just take it, and I don't do it back. And nobody listens, and the threats and assaults continue, and nobody fucking listens, and the threats and assaults continue, and nobody listens, and the threats and the assaults continue, and people give me excuses. Oh, I'm too busy with this, and I'm too busy with that. You're too busy sitting on the couch drinking beer for 6 goddamn months. I know, because I watched you do it. And if people send me money to help me, then the government wants to take that money from me and tell me that I owe them more money for being victimized. I owe them more money because I'm trying to get help. I'm trying to get a financial help because I cannot financially jump through all their hoops on $700 a month. And to this day, they use the "you're mentally ill" as an excuse not to take my report. Scott DeCosta went out of his way to have me victimized in the Scottsbluff fucking hospital so that he could hide the wrongdoings of his officer and himself. These are fucking felonies that have resulted in dead people. People are fucking dead because these cops didn't do their jobs. Why would they not? What fucking incentive could officers who not doing their job resulted in dead people, what could possibly be their motive for continuing to break the law? Might it have something to do with the fact that they will be going to prison if somebody actually looks at the goddamn evidence? Meanwhile, Scott DeCosta, 20 times before this situation happened, over 20 times I spoke to Scott DeCosta and his officers, not having a panic attack, not yelling, not screaming. I was pissed off for a reason. All of those fucking visitations with those officers try to get them to do their fucking jobs. And no matter what, they were making excuses for situations they weren't there for. If I come to you and I say, hey, Sheriff Scott DeCosta raped me, and you work for him, and you say, oh, well, I'm not the one who did it. I'm not telling you that he raped me because I want to blame you. I'm telling you he raped me because he fucking raped me. Instead of saying you're not the one who did it, maybe you should fucking do something. Did Scott DeCosta literally rape me? No, he didn't. But that's all you guys give a shit about. If it's not rape, it's okay. It's wrong for a cop to rape a woman, but everything else is okay. Fuck this goddamn country.